tell me, Vic, about the life within the family. I mean, we hear throughout your songs, you let some of that come out.
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess I write a lot of songs about my family.
Yes.
I never realized that I was a family kind of guy. You know, you would
Until?
never think. Yeah, you would never think that I was a family kind of guy. If anything, I think especially when people are young, it's the last thing you want to do is hang around your family. Right?
So what's the turning point here?
Well, you're kind of forced to hang out with your family, I guess. They're always making you do things, right?
I guess so.
You always got to go to some wedding or somebody's like, come on, come home. You haven't been home in weeks. Come eat dinner. And you're like, all right, I'll come home. Or you come home late and they're waiting up for you. Where have you been? What's going on? What's wrong with you? You're an alcoholic. You're a drug addict, right? No. I'm just I'm just a musician, it's cool. Nah, that's a cover. It's a cover. You're a drug addict. We know. And then it goes from there. And suddenly you get into the deep parts of your relationship with your family.
Yeah.
Yeah, you realize that, like, some people think that musicians, they're not the greatest people in the world, I didn't know that. I thought musicians were the best people in the whole world. My father, he didn't like that idea. He thought it was a cover. He thought it was just an excuse to hang around and be a bum, So, yeah. He didn't realize I really liked doing it. It's not just to talk to girls, Although when I told him that, he was like, come on, Vic, you can pick up girls a better way than that, right? Like that,
Tell me, Vic, in particular about your mom.
Yeah.
I know your mom used to have some relationship with music. She used to sing, right?
Yeah, she used to sing in a group, in a
Tell me
girl
that story.
group,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very small time stuff, man, but very cool.
Yeah.
They really could sing.
It was a doo-wop group, right?
Doo-wop group, yeah, the Lovettes.
All right.
Imagine that. And they were cool, man. They played, they played the normal thing, Catholic school functions.
Guitar man. Yeah.
All right.
There you go. And but by what time was that your mom was involved into the Lovettes?
The 60s.
How old were you?
Oh, no, I wasn't born. This is when she was a
Right.
teenager.
All right. How
So
did you
this is-
find out?
Well, because they used to still sing, because they all were friends. They all stayed friends for a long time, right? So they'd come over the house and they'd start hanging out, and then they'd start singing. And one time I remember we were hanging out and we were like, what record is that? That's cool. And I go inside and they were all in there singing, and I thought it was a record, because they could really harmonize. Particularly my mother and her friend Elaine could really, wow, their voices matched. Beautiful, I remember hearing them sing once out sitting in the car somewhere in a park.
Yeah.
And they were singing, and I was like, oh man, that's what good harmony sounds like, I mean, I must have been I was a kid, I was 12 years old or something.
Right. Did they ever record anything?
Nah, no records or anything. I think maybe there's a recording somewhere, maybe, I don't know, I doubt it. But they would make little cassette tapes when they hung out.
Okay.
And then from that, my mother would suggest songs for me to learn,
Uh-huh.
She'd say, this is a good song to harmonize on. You and your buddy should learn this tune. And she'd make tapes. We'd make tapes off the radio. Learn this tune. When you go to rehearsal and you want the guys to harmonize, this is the song we used to practice on,
All right.
Chapel of Love or something like that. And I'd be like, oh, all right, that's cool. It's a good idea.
Okay.
So that's where, like a lot of times I'll play a song, and I just did a recording in Berlin, right? And I do this real 50s thing, right? And somebody goes, oh, it's a Slackers song. And I was like, oh yeah, it's a Slackers song. Real 50s,
Yeah.
Because it's all 50s stuff.
Exactly.
But everybody thought they were smart asses in the 80s, right? And nobody could write a simple song, especially in New York. All the bands were these funk, fusion, jazz, noise, avant-garde, art bands, right?
Yeah.
Everything had to have crazy chords, that you made up, your own chords. Nobody could just play a simple song, right?
Yeah.
And it was boring as hell. And then so all of a sudden I was like, oh, I'll just go back and listen to the oldies station. write a bunch of songs that sound like that. And everybody's like, my God, the guy is a genius. He's a genius songwriter. I'm like, yeah, it's good. I'm glad. Nobody knows all these radios, and I'm a genius. It's fantastic.
That's a good trick indeed. So, I mean, in which way did you think this particular relationship of your mom with the Lovettes, 50s doo-wop melodies,
Yeah.
had some influence on you?
Well, because it's the best music ever, so. And I was lucky, you know. I mean, I was lucky because a lot of people's parents might not have the best taste in music. And my mother had excellent, excellent taste in music. She loved Motown. She loved all that good doo-wop, rock and roll. When I was learning how to play guitar, my mother, she goes, hey, you know, this, because she's always making suggestions, right?
That's cool.
You know, there's this guitar solo. She's like, I hear you trying to play guitar solos. You know this song, Louie Louie? You know, there's a guitar solo in there. That, and she said there's a Kinks song too, because she liked the Kinks. She says, like, well, forget it if she really got me on one of those.
Yeah.
It's real simple, she says. It's real simple. You could learn it, you know? And that's like something I think you could probably play really easy. She's like, and that'll get you going, like, in the right direction, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So she was always giving me advice about, like, hey, try this, you know? And she didn't look at music intellectually the way that I, or you, may look at music, where we sit around, well, what are the trends of 1967 that we're hearing in this record? You know? My mother, when we talked about the Kinks, she'd say, oh, the Kinks, you mean the band with the beat? The band that always plays the beat. They don't play anything else, where everybody plays the beat. And I was thinking, yeah, I guess you're right. I guess that's what they do with all, you know, whatever it is, or whatever. Everybody plays the same thing, so that's what she says. Oh, the band that everybody plays the beat.